Welcome to Revelations with Sequita, where faith, healing, and real talk meet. So I'm coming on here kind of just off the fly, off the cuff today, because I believe last week I watched a podcast about this growing trend of, adult children going no contact with their parents. One, the word trend drew me in, and also trend, because I thought about trend as that's temporary, that's fashion, that's this, like it'll soon go away type of thing. It happens for a short period of time and then it dissipates. So I watched it. I can't, it was last week, so I can't really tell you a whole lot of what was going on in there specifically, but I watched another video where there was a review or response to it, and it just resonated something in me. First thing I had to do was go look up trend, and I had to think about it. Okay, it's fashion. It's exactly kind of what I thought about, like a craze or something that was going on for a short period of time. But it also states that it is a general direction which something is developing or changing, and a change or develop in a general direction. I will say this. Once I got past the whole trend, I will say this. There is a change. There is a change. And I'm what they would categorize as, in the genre of Generation X. And my parents would be baby boomers. Not a big fan of those words, but just to give context here as I talk about it. So I got on here because I want to talk about no contact is usually the last resort. A child does not just go no contact. There has been a cry out for help, or do you hear me? Are you listening to me? Prior to that, there's not just no, I'm gonna cut it off here. And I will tell you this, the person that's getting cut off, they know that there is something. They're not walking around here oblivious and have no idea. They may not ever tell people, but there is something within that they know why their child is going no contact. The thing is, their role as the mother or the father, and I'm gonna keep it very specific here. We're talking about mothers or fathers. That's all I'm talking about in this particular video. They feel that I'm the mother, I'm the father. But what's happening is those kids are now grown. They're overgrown because they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Some of us are even, we so close to 50 we can touch it and say, we see it. It's down the street. We can see it. We on our way. We walk in there. No contact is the last resort. Why do people go no contact? And this is coming from someone who has done this a couple times and is currently in its no contact stage for the time that she means it. This time because things happened prior to this. Kids go no contact because of, one, how they were treated as children. So their treatment when they was a child. They go because of the toxic behaviors in families or by their parents. Okay, those are two big reasons. Probably this is not an all-inclusive list, because when you get down to childhood treatment, that can even be broken down into more. You get into toxic behaviors, that can be broken down into more, like manipulation, lack of empathy, emotional dysfunction. It can go, it is so much that even it would take a cluster of videos just to discuss and talk about. I can share with you my experience. I went no contact because how I was treated as a child, I was continuing to be treated that same way as an adult. As an adult, that even after getting married and having children and then having an adult child myself, and it continued as if I was still a child under her roof. And oh, by the way, I went no contact with my mother. Never went no contact with my dad. But my mother, yes. A couple times. Not multiple, but I can say probably this is the third time. And it's different this time. And I'll share with you why. But it was how I was treated as a child and how it continued into me being an adult. Right? I started to go through transitions in my life and changes in my life where I'm like, I'm married, I'm having issues in my marriage, I'm having issues parenting my children, and I went to therapy because I needed help, because I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that something was wrong. And I began to read books, and I knew a lot of what I went through was impacting my life as an adult. Even the jobs that I chose, even the career that I had chose to go into, healthcare. You know, when I think back when I was young, healthcare wasn't what I chose. It was what I was good at, science and things like that. Back in school, I was good at those things, but it wasn't my desire. It was more like literature and writing and reading and things of that sort. And I'm like, wow, so why did I choose this? Why did I choose this career path and those things? And then when you get married, your marriage or your partner can kind of put up a mirror in your life, because you realize, hey, I'm trying to get from my partner what I should have gotten from my parents, and how I was treating my children was how I was treated. So I thank God for that, because there was a revelation in that itself that I stopped doing that. And one of the biggest things that I realize now with the toxic behaviors and how I was treated as a child, the biggest one was the lying to me and manipulating me. And that really has been to why this season of no contact has been huge. Because before an adult child goes no contact, there was a cry out, there was blow ups. I'm telling you, there was boundary setting. There was, hey, when you did this to me as a child, or you said this is how it made me feel. And I realized that I'm kind of still dealing with that. Many times you were told, get over it, or it was denial, or I don't know what you're talking about. Now, denial and I don't know what you're talking about is two different things. Denial is, I was there and you was there too. I know you remember. I don't know what you're talking about is, maybe you've done this so long to me and so many times when as a child that maybe you don't remember. You don't think it ever happened because it was so common to you. So it's like, what's the problem? And or I had it done to me as a kid, and I'm like, oh. So, and that's when you start to realize that this is really generational. This is a generational belief, cycle, thought, behavior. And just a side note, commercial break, as my friend would say. When you when you talk to your parents, or if you're a person that is considering no contact, or you have, many times you have told your parents, and I'm sure most of you have heard it happened to me, or I dealt with it, or what have you. Let me tell you something about, from a spiritual perspective and standpoint. If it happened to you, 9 times out of 99.9%, it happened to that parent, and it happened to that parent's parent. So this is generational. All the enemy got to do is plant the seed 2 or 3 generations back, sometimes 4 generations back. And that parent is going to do it to that child. That child is going to become a parent, do it to their child. And it's going to keep on going until somebody like yourself decides, hey, it stops with me. Because I was that individual that it stops with me. Now, I've went no contact and low contact and up, just a roller coaster up and down. This recent time, there was a tragedy that happened in my life, and a loss. And the way that my mother and her family responded with everything, it was just, I didn't have a need. Yes, I did. Let me be honest. I did wait, where I was just, how could this, boom, 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 getting all, it was almost like having a relapse. Like, you already know this. But with this particular tragedy and loss, I was shocked by how my mother and her family spoke, because in no contact before, it was just no contact with her. This time, it's like panoramic view. I had to step back and I had to look at everything, and I had to say, wait a minute, not just no contact with her. I gotta go no contact with people that are attached to her. And it hurts, but sometimes, especially the closest people, I'm talking about the aunts and aunts, her siblings, except one. But you got to go no contact. This no contacts include cousins, aunts. That's what it is. Because anybody that the person you going no contact with has contact with, you just got to go no contact with all of them. Because what's that, they got flying monkeys, as they call them, lack of a better term, but people that kind of hover over to see what you doing. And it just causes so much more uneasiness and strife and all of those things. So I'm no contact now. And how I got back into the contact was last year, when I had a carrot dangled in front of me. Ooh, a nice carrot, looked really tasty. And it was my great-grandfather's land, my maternal great-grandfather's land to inherit. And it's like, hey, do you want it? I had been saying no for years, but I was led to say yes. Said yes. Ups and downs. Don't have it yet, or don't have it. I actually have a piece whether I have it or not. And with the tragedy I went through, and there was a lot of things behind, with not just my mother, but with other family members. And it was at that time, kind of a couple months of going back and forth, the low contact, the heightened anger, just arguing back and forth, that I just decided it was like no contact. And I'm going to tell you, this no contact has been different, because I've had to heal on another level, not just on the physical level, but I've had to heal on a spiritual level. And let me tell you, you cannot heal in the places that you were hurt. And let me see if I can make it where people understand. If you were an addict And whatever that addiction was, you can't hang around the people that still engaging in the addiction and expect that you're gonna be cool and that you strong enough and you can get past that and you can just be there and still be not wanted or not be tempted to have it. No, you cannot heal in the same place that you were hurt. You cannot be there. You got to get a whole new tribe, a whole new group of friends. You got to go through some internal transformation that changes your entire mindset, so that when you see it, you're not worried about trying to get that anymore. Because it's not something that you desire to do. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm a lot happier. Do I feel a little lonely every now and then? Yeah, but it's getting less and less. It's getting very minute. It's not something that, because you start thinking about your peace. And if you have that peace that surpasses all understanding, you don't allow things and people back into your life that's going to upset your peace. No. And what I went through earlier this year, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not the piece of land, not anything. I had to give up the hope and the ghost that things will be any different right now. I'll leave you with this. You can love them. You can care for them. Forgive them. I know I didn't talk a lot about that. That will be it. Forgive. Forgive. Forgive is a one and done. I always say that. Forgiveness is a one and done. The reason why it's so hard for people to forgive is that the hurt and pain. You forgive, and then you're going to have to go and deal with the hurt and the pain. You're going to have to go and deal with what you have to, the healing that you have to do. You have to choose to forgive, and it's the healing. It's the healing that you have to do. And the healing going to make you feel like, did I forgive them? I'm still angry. I'm still mad. You're going to go through the ups and downs until eventually it gets to a point where you wish them well. You pray for them, and you're able to move forward. You're able to move forward. If you read my first book, I had lost hope. I had to regain a hope for life. But other things, I lost hope. I lost the word HOPE. And I lost it because I had hoped my mother would be different, that she would be the mother that I always dreamed or wanted. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. But in this season right now, the no contact has been a huge blessing to me. It has been a huge blessing for my nervous system. Less stress. Just being able to really discover who I am without all of that baggage. So I've been on here a little bit too long. I didn't plan on it being this long, but I just want to thank you guys for all of you who stayed around and watched from the beginning to the end. So I will meet you guys back here next time with Revelations, where faith, healing, and real talk meet. Thank you. Bye.